Let's talk about award shows. They honor creative people, they celebrate great art, and they're how we track the migratory pattern of the Skarsgårds. But one recent award show raised a lot more questions than who are you wearing?
It was supposed to be an evening of Hollywood glamour mixed with British royalty. But the British Film Awards ceremony known as the BAFTAs is facing outrage after black actors MichaelBJordan and Delroy Lindo took the stage, only for the N-word to be shouted from the audience.
Oh, BAFTA, BAFTA, BAFTA. Don't you miss when nobody knew what you were? When we all thought you were a trade deal or something, you know? I actually once met someone who told me they had a BAFTA, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Is it terminal? Now, ordinarily, I dismiss this as another story about a racist slur, but let's go a little deeper.
The shout came from John Davidson, who lives with Tourette's syndrome, a condition that can cause people to make sudden, involuntary tics.
This is a tough one. Because you gotta understand, this is hard for me as a black person because every time I've been called the N-word, I was told the white person couldn't help it, you know? No, they're old, they're from the South, or they bet on Tyson and he lost. And now I'm confronted with someone who actually couldn't help it. So it's kind of hard to know what to do with your anger here. And the internet at large made this out to be diversity versus neurodiversity. But I know it's not that, because I asked my neurodivergent friends who are black what they thought. And then a bunch of people came and asked me what I thought. And I was like, wait, what made you... I mean, yeah, I like anime, but you know what? Never mind. Like I said, I asked those friends, and as soon as we finished talking about Dragon Ball Z, we got into it. So to go a little deeper, the man who shouted out the slur was John Davidson, who was at the BAFTAs because there was an award-winning movie based on his life with Tourette's. So yes, his outburst was involuntary, and he addressed it in a statement afterwards. But right after that, I saw a lot of white people who don't have Tourette's giving him a pass, which is weird because white people don't hand out those passes. White people don't give out passes to say the N-word the same way I don't give out the passes to Cracker Barrel. I know that's not my place. The BAFTAs also tried to apologize during the ceremony, and here's how it went.
You may have heard some strong and offensive language tonight. The tics you've heard tonight are involuntary, which means the person who has Tourette's syndrome has no control over their language. We apologise if you were offended.
If you were offended? I mean, the only two options are being offended or liking it. Saying if ruins a whole apology the same way kind of ruins a whole wedding vow. I vow to kind of be faithful. Also, maybe the apology shouldn't come from the host of The Traitors. I honestly don't trust anything that man says anymore. But enough from Fluke from Spy Kids. Let's go even deeper. Because it doesn't begin and end with John. He warned the BAFTAs that something like this could happen.
Back in October, he explained nerves trigger those vocal tics.
Sometimes my tics, I'll shout the N-word, and people misunderstand that and they see it as being racist.
And it's more about tic triggers, certain things like today. Lots of people around, I'm feeling very, motor tics in case I lash out or whatever, so.
This man called his shot. He basically Babe Ruth the N-word. Watch this from row 40. Now, BAFTA did make an announcement in the room before the ceremony that there could be outbursts, but they didn't do enough.
Well, John Davidson is said to be deeply mortified by the incident on Sunday. He has now said to the BBC, "Why on earth was I allowed to sit so close to a microphone?"
They sat him next to a microphone? This feels like a Final Destination movie when they make one of the characters go to a dynamite factory. Like, what are you thinking? And if you're thinking the BBC, the network that broadcasts the awards, deserves some blame, you have no idea how much blame.
The BBC is apologizing. They've come under a lot of fire because they allowed the racial slur to go out on the broadcast, even though it was pre-recorded.
The moment was broadcast without any censoring, despite being on a 2-hour delay.
A 2-hour delay? That's plenty of time to bleep it. And don't tell me you lost track of time. The only thing I know about your country is that you got big-ass clocks. I mean, if they're not bleeping the N-word, they must not bleep anything.
The big question this morning, why did these outbursts remain on the broadcast when other parts of the event were cut, like the words of one award winner who said, "Free Palestine"?
Now, whenever I hear something bleeped, I'm gonna assume they might be saying Free Palestine. I'll be listening to music like, oh, wow, I didn't realize Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion wanted a wet-ass Free Palestine. How could this possibly happen?
The corporation said producers were overseeing the coverage from a truck and simply did not hear the slur.
Oh, that makes sense, because most of the times I've been called the N-word, it's been hurled from a truck. Look, I have seen so much anger and hate online fighting over this, with people rushing to attack anyone they saw as ableist in some ways that were pretty racist. People are pretending to be neurologists while saying things like, "Don't you say the R word, you N-word?" Everyone was so mad at each other when all of us should be mad at the BAFTAs. They have failed both groups and the people that overlap at every turn. They sat John next to a microphone. They didn't edit it out, even with a 2-hour delay, and they left it up, unedited, on the BBC streaming service for 15 hours. How are you going to hand out editing awards and you can't edit? Even worse, you embarrass Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. No one gets away with that. So please, Black Twitter and neurodivergent TikTok, stop firing off at each other and turn that heat on to BAFTA and the BBC, because your heat together is equal to the sun. Roast them, light them up, fry their asses. They're from England, they burn easy. But hey, maybe I'm in too deep.